what if the decision has already been made? What if somewhere in Tel Aviv the clock has already started? If Israel strikes Iran's nuclear facilities, this will not be a symbolic air raid. It will be the beginning of the most dangerous 72 hours the Middle East has seen in decades. And the real shock won't be the strike. It will be what happens next. Because the first response won't come from Tehran. It will come from everywhere else. Hour 0. Israeli jets cross airspace quietly. Cyber operations begin. Communications are disrupted. Radar systems flicker. The objective is not total destruction. It's delay. Delay Iran's breakout timeline. Delay what Israeli leadership considers an existential threat. But here's the problem. Iran has prepared for this scenario for years. Their nuclear infrastructure is dispersed, hardened underground. This would not be a one-night operation. It would be escalation by design. Now, hour 6. Iran does not respond immediately with full force. It calibrates. Missiles toward Israeli military sites? Possibly. But more likely, proxies activate first. Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq, forces in Syria. Israel suddenly faces pressure from multiple fronts, and this is where the danger multiplies. Because once rockets start flying across borders, containment becomes fantasy. Now, hour 18. Oil markets react before politicians do. The Strait of Hormuz becomes the focal point. Even the hint of disruption sends energy prices spiking. Global markets tremble. This is no longer an Israel-Iran issue. It becomes a global economic event. Now ask yourself, what does Washington do? The United States cannot ignore direct regional escalation, but it also cannot afford another full-scale Middle East war. So the White House faces a brutal calculation: support Israel openly and risk wider war, or push for immediate de-escalation and risk to turn its credibility. And that hesitation, Iran watches it carefully. Now, hour 36. Cyber retaliation intensifies, financial systems targeted, infrastructure probed. This conflict would not look like 2003 Iraq. It would be hybrid warfare, digital, regional, asymmetric. Now here is the twist most analysts miss. The greatest pressure may not come from missiles. It may come from inside Iran. If Israel strikes, the regime will attempt to unify the population under nationalism. But economic strain already exists. Youth dissatisfaction already exists. If retaliation triggers sanctions escalation or economic shock, internal frustration could deepen. And here lies the paradox. External war can strengthen regimes or expose their fragility. Now, hour 72. The region stands at a crossroads. Either back-channel diplomacy begins quietly, or escalation spreads beyond control. The terrifying reality: wars rarely expand intentionally. They expand through miscalculation. A missile off target, a civilian casualty, a misread radar signal, and suddenly major powers are forced to choose sides publicly. Now here's the question no one wants to answer. Is this scenario inevitable, or is it already quietly being prevented behind closed doors? Because the silence right now, the diplomatic stagnation, the warnings from both sides, they feel less like peace and more like preparation. If you want strategic geopolitical breakdowns without media theatrics, this channel is built for that. Because in this region, history doesn't announce itself loudly. It moves quietly until it doesn't. And the next 72 hours could decide far more than just one facility.